Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's 2025. I'm going to be making corned beef and cabbage again this year. But this year, I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to make it on the Weber grill. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't seen my videos before, please feel free to check them out. I've done a couple before on corned beef and cabbage, and please feel free to watch those. This year I actually picked up two briskets. I'm going to go with the point cut. That's the one I like. There's also the flat cut. That has less fat in it, so you may like that one better. It's probably a little bit healthier actually, but this is what the point cut looks like. You can see some of the fat in there, and each package is going to come with a spice pack. So it's really about preference, but just be mindful. There's the point and the flat cut. Actually found it pretty cheap out here. I got $1.77 a pound. I don't think you're going to find it cheaper than that with inflation and where I'm at in California. What I do is a little bit different from most. I use apple cider vinegar to help tenderize the meat. I got my potatoes, I got my carrots, I got the cabbage in the fridge. I'll pull that out later. I use an onion, I use some garlic, got some of the spices over here. This is something else I do a little bit different, more of like a fusion style. This is called star anise. It's an Asian spice. It's a little pod there. You can probably find it at some specialty markets or order it online. If you want, you can add that. It's a licorice flavor. I've talked about it in my other videos, so I'm not gonna go back over that. But in addition to the spice packs, if you want to like up the cloves and the fennel, which is usually in there, or the mustard seed, you have that on hand. You can tinker with the ratio. I always add a couple of bay leaves, some ginger. And this year, because I'm going to do it on the grill, I'm going to use this Kinder's barbecue blend. I'll get to that a bit later, but just to show you what's in it if you want to make it yourself. It's paprika and brown sugar and turmeric and mustard seeds. So those are like the main ingredients in this. So you could probably just make it at home. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to this. I just pick up this rub for pretty much most things I grill. I'm going to use that. So because I have two briskets, I think I'm going to do an experiment where I'll do one the way I made it before, and I'll do the other one out on the grill. So I'll do one in the Dutch oven here, the other one out on the grill. But I'm going to start, as I always do, by just getting it in the Dutch oven and putting the apple cider vinegar in and just giving it a couple hours to tenderize the meat. All right, I'll check back in a few. Okay, so the first step is just getting the corned beef out of the package. I rinse it off and then I dry it down with paper towels and just set the spice pack aside. So because I have two briskets, I'm going to use a little bit more of the apple cider vinegar. So I'm just going to go with 1 cup. And again, this is just going to be for about 2 hours. I don't go longer than that because I'm actually going to do this at room temp and just in terms of food safety. So I marinate it for 2 hours at room temp and a cup of the apple cider vinegar. If you're using one brisket, you probably just do half a cup, and I'm just adding water in too. We'll do the spices and bay leaves and everything later when I actually cook it. I'm gonna cook one in the Dutch oven and then I'm gonna cook the other one out on the Weber. But just in terms of getting this tender, like you just want to make sure you have the apple cider vinegar in there, and just set this aside, set a timer, and you'll be good to go. All right, I'll check back in a few hours when I add the spices and get it ready for cooking. Okay, so I let the corned beef marinate for about an hour and a half. I just took it out of the Dutch oven. This is the brisket I'm gonna put out on the grill. So I'm gonna season it a little bit differently than what I usually do. Like I said, I'm gonna use this Kinder's Rub barbecue blend. So I'm gonna do a bit of that. And then even though the Kinder's does have mustard in it, I want to adjust the ratio. So I'm going to do some actual mustard seed just to have a little bit more of that. And then, of course, I'm still going to take advantage of the spice pack that they gave us in the corned beef package itself. So I'll just show you me getting that in on this side. I'm going to do both sides. But, yes, so the apple cider vinegar was in the Dutch oven to tenderize it. I'm doing the rub now. I'm going to do both sides. I just lit the grill, give it about a half hour to come up to temperature. And I have a charcoal grill, so I have it like set up where I put the charcoal on one side so you have direct heat, and then indirect side. When I get outside, I'll show you. I'm going to put this on the indirect heat, so not right over the coals. But yeah, I'll check back in about 20-30 minutes once the grill's hot and I get this out there, and we'll go from there. All right, here's our brisket. I added a little bit more black pepper, and that rub I checked actually had quite a bit of brown sugar in it, so I didn't mention that. So if you're gonna make your own rub and you want to do it that way, you could add some brown sugar. All right, so let's try to get this guy right here on the Weber. I'm gonna go fat side down. and I'm gonna put it over towards the indirect side. So I got the coals over here is really hot. It's like 450, probably a bit hot. So I'm gonna leave the lid off for a few minutes and then put the lid on. And so this piece of corned beef, it was about 4 pounds. They usually range 3 to 4 pounds. So depending on the size, that's how long you're gonna leave it on. So I'm gonna, again, do indirect heat. I'm gonna put the lid on in a few minutes, and I'm gonna check on it in about an hour and a half. So yeah, check on an hour and a half. It might take a little bit longer, but I think if you leave it longer than that, you risk overdoing it a bit. So I do fat side down. Some people do fat side up. It's just really however you want to do it. I think it's safer to do it the fat side down. If I had made this before and practiced more, I probably would have taken more risk and did the fat side up. All right, cool. I'll check back in a bit. Okay, an hour and a half has gone by. I'm just coming out to check on the corned beef now, see how the temp's doing. I want to target about 185, so probably getting pretty close. Yeah, it's coming up good. All right, so yeah, depending on the size of your cut of corned beef, you want to target about 180 to 190. My case, it was about an hour and a half. I might give it a little bit more. It's getting pretty close now, so maybe I'll give it like another half hour or so. Yeah, and it just depends on how hot your grill is, really. So it's good if you have a thermometer on hand. I'll probably give it about another 20 to 30 minutes, and I'll check back in with you at the end. I'm going to do the cabbage and the potatoes and carrots with the other corned beef I have inside in the Dutch oven. All right, cool. All right, so I'm finishing up the corned beef and cabbage on the inside. I'm just going to add the cabbage. That's the last step. It takes about a half hour from here. And then I just pulled the corned beef off the grill. It was about 180, 182, 183. So I'm going to wrap that in foil or cover that in foil for the next half hour. I'm going to let the cabbage cook, and I'll show you the final plate. All right, I just finished up the final plate. This is corned beef and cabbage for St. Patrick's Day 2025. I grilled the corned beef, and definitely a different flavor profile from what I'm used to, but I thought it came out pretty good, all things considered, for my first time grilling it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and you guys have an awesome St. Patrick's Day.